Hi, this is Tom on X. We have Elon Musk today. Let's see what he has to say.
That's a false.
No, what I
You
claimed.
just lied.
What? No. What I claimed was.
Then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
You know, who's to say that something is misinformation? Who's the arbiter of that? Is it the BBC?
You're literally asking me.
Yes.
Well, no. You
Who is the arbiter?
You are the arbiter on Twitter because you own Twitter.
Yes, I'm saying, who is to say that one person's misinformation is another person's information? The point at which you said that there is this is misinformation, like who is going to decide that?
But you accept that misinformation can be dangerous, that it can cause real-world harms, that it can potentially cause.
Yes, and the point I'm trying to make is that the BBC itself has, at times, published things that are false. Do you agree that that has occurred?
I'm quite sure the BBC have said things before that turn out to not be true.
Correct.
In its, whatever it is, 100-year history, I'm quite sure.
Yes. Even if you aspire to be accurate, there are times when you will not be.
We've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter.
Right.
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
but just a personal anecdote, like what do you? I don't.
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content, yeah, personally. But I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
You see.
Okay, so we have a journalist. Obviously, he's not prepared. He's asking questions that he's not even sure how he feels about them. So therefore, he's really not pursuing any kind of direct line other than just what I call gotcha journalism. You throw out enough questions, maybe you'll catch something. Let's keep going. I think Elon's just too smart for this.
More hate speech personally.
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm
just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed.
Once again, he gets a direct question, but look how he's answering it. He's restating U.S. It's like total avoidance.
Whether it's got less or more, I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
you
don't.
can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second. You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure.
But see, once again, Elon uses this base judgment of just taking people's words and inquiring about the words they're using or the statements they're making. This is a very good conversationalist tactic where when you have somebody that's unsure of themselves, you don't try to destroy them. You try to make them just whatever they say, prove the point. And it kind of teaches people that you better not just spit things out. You better have the background or the facts. Let's keep going.
I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
Well, then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's a false.
No, what I claimed,
you just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right, and
literally
you look at someone like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example.
Once again, he's grounded the conversation. All I'm asking you is for a single example. I don't want all this hyperbole about other people and other organizations and things. I'm looking at you, we're sitting here together. Give me what I'm asking for.
Example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
Well, then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
That's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
Wow.
COVID misinformation.
Amazing.
You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has
rules.
BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm
Okay, that long pause and you know, at this point, whatever is said, whatever goes on between these two gentlemen is a waste of time. They literally are sitting there getting nowhere and they're continuing the conversation. As you know, my policy is that if you make a statement and you can't factually base it up, you're out. You don't even get your 8 minutes. All right, let's see how this rounds itself out.
literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then it disappeared. Why do that?
Well, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations, and not reporting on that at all?
I'm sorry, people. This is just way too painful. This guy is getting destroyed and he's doing it to himself. Once again, this is Tom on X. I'm out.